You have, let me switch you a little bit to politics here. You have, among other challengers, a Tea Party candidate who would like to go into the primary and to be the U.S. Senator from Indiana. What do you think in general of the Tea Party and its effect, first on legislation and its effect on politics?
Well, the Tea Party groups have been very effective. In Indiana, they are separate groups, usually by community, as opposed to one large situation. They're very conservative Republicans. They believe in less government spending, less government, period, and they are hopeful of finding candidates who are going to be on that ticket.
I think that's not you.
Well, I would say to them respectfully, it is me, that I have a very conservative voting record over the course of the time I've served. I'm sort of unique, I think, in the Senate of having been a farmer, a small businessman, a naval officer, a mayor, a school board member. These are grassroots functions in which you've been dealing with.
Something you should have to be selling to Republicans in Indiana at this point.
Well, it's not my option.
Right. I know it's not probably not your preference, but I mean, you've been in Congress more than 30 years.
Yes.
And something has changed in the atmospherics, I think, of politics that makes you what I think it was the Washington Times called you one of the most vulnerable Republicans. How did that happen?
Well, I'm not certain that I'm most vulnerable, and I'm not certain it's happened. In other words, I would just say that our campaign has already enlisted hundreds of volunteers from all the backgrounds that I've talked about. We've made 517,000 calls already, just to the spectrum of people whom Republican primary. They put about $4 million in the bank for me through very good fundraising at the grassroots level. I have visited with many Tea Party groups. They've not pledged support, but they understand my position, and some even are going to be voting for me. The point I'm trying to make is that it's, I think, useful to understand a Republican majority in the Senate is very important. And Republicans who are running for re-election ought to be supported by people who want to see that majority. And so I think the majority of Tea Party people understand that, too. What they're hopeful is
just so I know what you mean is you think that you have the best chance of keeping this seat Republican.
Yes.
And that's what you're arguing.
I have no doubt from all of our polling and understanding that that is the case, and that, as a matter of fact, if I was not the nominee, it might be lost. Now, that, I think, is important, whether it's Tea Party or anybody else to understand, because Republicans lost the seat before in Nevada, in New Jersey, for example, in Colorado. There were people who claimed that they wanted somebody who was more of their Tea Party aspect, but in doing so, they killed off the Republican chances to burn a majority. This is one reason why we have a minority in the Senate right